What was Lord Vishnu doing before the creation of this universe? And why did he even think of creating it? The universe, he himself describes it as a Dukhalya, a world of suffering. In the Bhagavad Gita, we see that sometimes for the sake of peace, one even has to take the lives of their own people, just like Arjuna. This is a world where beings go through every kind of pain imaginable. Not only do humans suffer, even he himself chooses to go through it. If the ultimate goal is liberation, to become one with God again, then why create this distance in the first place? Why create it at all? What was he thinking before creation? Isn't it strange? First everything is one, everything is bliss, and then suddenly separation, suffering, the journey back to him. Why? Does it even make sense? In this video, we are not just going to explore this question, we are going to go deeper and try to understand what exactly was Lord Vishnu doing before creation. Why did he choose to create this universe? But before we get there, we need to understand how creation happens. Because once we understand the how, we can start uncovering the why. Let's take this image. This is not just an image, it is a coded dimension in itself, and trust me, it is not what most people think it is. It holds layers of meaning far deeper than what we usually hear. Lord Vishnu here is not just a physical deity resting in bliss. He represents the Param Brahma, the Paramatma, the supreme reality, pure consciousness itself. The beauty of this image is that it is not limited to devotion alone. It carries knowledge for everyone. For the Bhakta, the Jnana Yogi and the Karma Yogi, each can understand it from their own perspective. It serves all paths. Now look closely. Lord Vishnu, as the Param Brahma, is reclining on Ananta Shesha in Vaikuntha, surrounded by an ocean. It's not an ocean in the usual sense. It is not even a cosmic ocean, because the cosmos itself has not yet been created. That ocean is also the Param Brahma. That ocean is also Vishnu. It represents the formless state, pure consciousness, not bound by any form. And if we want to understand the nature of that infinite consciousness, we'll look at Vishnu. Blissful, ever present, the source of everything, not doing anything, just existing. This is what existed before the creation, before Brahma. Before creation, only this consciousness existed. Now comes Shesha. Vishnu rests on Sheshnag, and Sheshnag rests in the ocean. But what does Sheshnag represent? He is not just a devotee. His role is deeper than that, even more fundamental than Brahma. In fact, he represents the very reason this universe exists. The word Shesha means that which remains, that which is left, even after everything is destroyed. And in Indian tradition, the serpent symbolizes time, birth, death, and the cyclic nature of existence. So Sheshnag represents that which never gets destroyed. Now look at his infinite heads. They are not decoration, they represent infinite potential. Vishnu the Param Brahma rests on infinite potential, and that potential itself rests in the infinite consciousness. This shows something very profound. Infinite consciousness has infinite ways to express itself. Every form, stars, trees, humans, animals, water, earth, you, me, everything is one of those possibilities. The universe is not separate. It is one expression among infinite possibilities. Even after the universe ends, what remains is this potential. And when a universe begins again, it is that same potential unfolding. Now think about this. Do these infinite heads also represent infinite universes, infinite timelines? In stories of Krishna, we see him summoning multiple Brahmas, each from different realities. Could this be pointing to infinite possibilities of existence? Tell me what you think. As we know, Brahma emerges from Vishnu's navel, seated on a lotus. But the real focus here is not Brahma himself. It is what he represents. Brahma is not just a deity, he represents this universe itself, and that's why he is often shown as aged, because this universe is not eternal in its form. It is constantly evolving, constantly aging, moving toward dissolution, just like Brahma. So this aging form is not random. It reflects the nature of the universe we are living in. But the thing to pay attention to here is not Brahma, it is the lotus. The lotus holds far deeper meaning. It grows from water, from mud, yet remains untouched by it. And that is the key. The universe emerges from the Supreme, is sustained by it, is connected to it, yet the Supreme remains untouched. Just like the lotus. That's what this imagery is pointing to. Brahman is everywhere, experiencing everything, witnessing everything, yet affected by nothing. But even after all this, one question still remains. If this supreme consciousness, this supreme reality, Lord Vishnu, is pure bliss, then why does his creation contain pain? If you look at this image, there is no suffering here. There is only harmony, auspiciousness, abundance. By his side is Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth, of prosperity, of endless abundance. Everything here is in balance, in beauty, in bliss. Then where does suffering come from? Why does it exist at all? What was Vishnu thinking? To understand that, we need to understand Lakshmi, because understanding her brings us one step closer to understanding creation itself. Lakshmi is not just wealth in ordinary sense, not just money. She is the material power of Lord Vishnu, the very substance of manifestation. Everything that sustains life, food, air, water, energy, matter, all of it is Lakshmi. If you really think about it, what kind of wealth would the Supreme have access to? Not currency, but the very fabric of existence itself. The ability to create, to unfold, to manifest in infinite ways. That is the real wealth, and Lakshmi represents that. She is the total expressive richness of existence, which means not just beauty, but decay, not just pleasure, but pain, not just creation, but destruction. Think of it like a story. A story without conflict, without contrast, would mean nothing. No depth, no meaning. It is the contrast that makes the experience complete. In the same way, this existence itself is the greatest wealth, because we get to experience it. We recognize happiness only because sorrow exists. Without contrast, even bliss would lose its meaning. So what we call suffering is not outside creation. It is part of the full spectrum of expression, a part of Lakshmi herself. And now we have a clearer understanding of creation through this image. So to sum it up, the Param Brahma, the Supreme Consciousness, is everywhere. It has infinite possibilities of existence, infinite ways to express itself, infinite potential. And from that infinite potential, this universe exists. Yet, the Supreme is not affected by its own creation. It remains the witness, untouched, ever present. This unfolding creation, this life, this entire existence is itself the greatest expression, the greatest wealth of that infinite reality. Now comes the main question. What was he doing before creation? The answer is simple. He was doing, pay attention to this, he was doing nothing. Literally nothing. Because consciousness does not do anything. It simply is, ever present, unchanging, just existing. But then, if nothing was being done, how did creation happen? Remember what we discussed about Shesha, the infinite potential? That infinite potential itself is the key. This universe is just one of those possibilities. This is what is called Leela, the divine play. Not a decision, not a plan, not a compulsion, just expression. You might wonder, does that mean anything can happen? Can the world turn upside down tomorrow? Not exactly. It means this entire existence is a field of expression where the Supreme appears in countless ways. Everything you see is one of those expressions. As Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, even though I am unborn and imperishable and the Lord of all beings, establishing myself in my own Prakriti, I manifest through my own Maya. There is no reason behind creation. It is not a calculated act. It is simply expression, the infinite expressing itself. So before creation, He was still there. And even now, nothing has really changed. This universe is just one way the infinite appears. That is the idea of Leela, the divine play. And that's the understanding of creation and what existed before it, according to this perspective. If you want to explore more about Vaikuntha, you can check out the next video and tell me in the comments, what do you think about this? If the universe is just one of infinite possibilities of potential, then your current struggle is not an error. It is a specific expression of the infinite.